All right, we got our recording started. It's December 5th already, coming up on the end of the year. And next week, I'm going to do like a special call next week. I do every year. And it's kind of a wrap up. It's like a year-end wrap up. And it's to kind of make sure that you get going correctly into the new year. And, you know, we're talking 2020 coming up. And we are in some really good times right now as far as economy. I have not taken on as many new customers as I've taken on in the last couple of months in probably 10 years. It's crazy. So I want to make sure that you guys are up to speed and are able to cash in on that, because there is, like I said, there's not been a better time to acquire new customers as there is right now. I mean, it's like a free-for-all. It's absolutely crazy. So anyway, to that point, Chris had just asked, you know, how to do that, how to acquire new customers and how to scale up. And you know what I'm going to be going through next week is this process of looking at what you're doing, and when you do that, it becomes fairly self-evident where you are and the results that you're getting. And I mean, it flat comes down to this: how many offers are you making? You know, if you're not in front of the right people at the right time making the right offer, you're going to be stagnant. You're not going to grow. And it's really that simple. You know, the whole ACT program is about that very thing. It's about figuring out who's right for you, what's important to them, and then packaging yourself up in a way that you become appealing to them. So if you want to grow, that's really what you need to focus on. And then the traffic, you know, everybody gets this stuff kind of out of order. They all focus on, they think they need the traffic first. And that's rarely, if ever, the case. You need to really focus on your conversion first, making sure that you've got a profitable audience, you've got a market that is viable, and you've got an offer that they're going to crave. And then traffic is very important. At that point, now you've got a real system, a real sales process. And you know, that's all a funnel is. Everybody refers to this funnel thing, and that's kind of a new term, and you know, so to speak, on the marketing front, you know, all of these online funnels and stuff. All it is a sales process. If you don't have a sales process in the real world, putting together a website's not automatically going to do that. You have to be able to create a sales process, and that includes coming in front of people, presenting yourself, presenting your offer, you know, creating demand and desire for that offer, eliminating objections, all the stuff that we talk about. It's all part of a sales process. When you figure it out, when you figure out for you, what's the process that your customers will buy from, you know, what are their triggers? What's the process? How do you meet them? Where do they hang out? What do you say to grab their attention? All that stuff is really critical. If you've never done sales, or you've never done marketing, and you've never, like let's say you're really introverted. I used to be this way. I used to not really like to talk to people, and I was very much in a shell. So I depended on others to sell my stuff for me. And you know, that was basically based on a little lie that I told myself that I wasn't a good salesperson. And I did that to protect my desire to become, or to stay, an introvert. Is, you know, it was kind of self-preservation. But the fact is, if you really want to grow, you've got to figure that process out, whether you do the sales or not. Because if you have salespeople and you don't know the process and they don't either, they're just going to be stumbling along just like you were. And they're not going to be effective. They're not going to be making sales, all that stuff. So figuring out what triggers people to buy in the real world is critical. It's really crucial to figure out what's important to them.
What are the triggers?
And once you get that figured out, and you've got the process, you know how to spark up a conversation. You know, in marketing, everybody talks about the elevator speech. The reason that that is so important is that's your opener. That's how, when you come up to somebody and you don't know them, that in the online world is considered cold traffic. That's somebody that doesn't know you, they've never seen you, they've never heard of you. It's a oh, hello. And in a very short time frame, you need to figure out, is this person worth me talking to? And I know that sounds kind of shitty. You know, is this person worth me talking to? In, you know, in the personal world, you might think I'm an asshole for thinking like that. But in the business world, that's how business operates. Business owners don't waste time. They wouldn't send a salesperson out that they were paying to talk to somebody that's not a buyer. That's wasting money and wasting time. So in the business world, it's appropriate. You want to figure out, who do you want to talk to? Think about this. If this is probably the worst scenario you could do to a salesperson, is drop a salesperson on a show floor where his job is to meet people, make a presentation, and sell them something. And you go out and you stir up some sort of a deal that creates a whole bunch of the wrong people coming in. Like, let's say you're giving away free hot dogs and beer, you know, and you're trying to sell lawn chairs. So you got a guy on the floor, his job is to sell the lawn chairs, and he's got 10,000 people coming for the free hot dog and beer. There might be 10 out of that group that actually would buy the lawn chair. How's he going to figure it out? You know, you just barraged him with 10,000 people that want something that is completely different from what he's selling. That's a bad sales process. That's a way to drive your salespeople out of your business. It's hard to find good salespeople, and you don't want to treat them that way. So that's what the elevator speech is all about. When you're in front of somebody you don't know, new through the door, first meeting, you want to figure out within 10 seconds, is this person a prospect or are they not? Because if they're not, you want to say hello to the next person, run that thing to them and see if they're the right one. You know, it's the sooner you get to the right one, the sooner you're going to get to a sale. So that's really important. That's the whole reason for elevator speech. Now, one of the things that a really good elevator speech will do is it will repel the wrong people. Like if they say, oh yeah, okay, that's cool, they're not the right person for you. So, you know, that's why you want to craft that. In the ad business, that's called the big idea. When you throw out a big idea and somebody leans in and they're like, wow, really? Tell me more about that. You just hooked them. That's somebody worth spending time with. If you throw the big idea at them and they're like looking glassy-eyed and they're like, oh, I don't know what that means. Oh, well, it's really nice to meet you. Have a nice day. You know, and on to the next one. You know, it's like fishing. If you're putting a bait out and the bait's not getting taken and you see the fish in the water, it's not the right bait. You know, and if you really want that fish, you better figure out what he likes to eat. It just, you know, I mean, it's simple principles. It's simple concepts. It's almost like laws of nature. It really is. It really comes down to that. This is all simple stuff. I relate it to the dating world a lot because the parallel is almost identical. You know, the whole idea of the process of dating, it's the same as the process of sales. There's an introduction, there's a decision whether you want to move to the next step, and that decision keeps being made over and over and over until you get to the sale. You know, whatever that means to you in the dating world, whatever that means to you in the sales world, whatever your idea of a conversion is. You know, it might be you know, getting them to a presentation. It might be showing them how you're the best solution for them. It might be eliminating objections. It might be presenting an offer. And everything has to be done in the right sequence. So depending on what you're selling, that's your commitment level. How much does it cost? That's your commitment level. In the dating world, it's the same thing. You know, what's your commitment level? Are you asking for somebody to meet you at a place, a public place for coffee where you both drive your own cars, and if it doesn't go right, you separate and you go your own way? That's a very small commitment. That's easy to get. You know, a higher commitment is come to an hour webinar. You know, that's equivalent of, hey, I'm committing to an hour. That's like in the dating world, that's committing to a dinner date. You know, and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made there that are not in the beginning. So if you're jumping these gaps, if you're jumping and you're trying to ask for too much too fast, that's probably where you're going to fail. And if your marketing funnel is doing that, it's set up to fail. You're creating a scenario to fail very quickly, very easily. So you want to think about that. Think about what is the process? What is going to work for me? And there's so many factors. There's not like I can't give you an A, B, C to make this work in all scenarios, because there's so many different levels of commitment. There's so many different levels of all kinds of stuff. You know, it really, that's where the ACT program really, really shines, because it digs into all of that and it figures all that out for any scenario. Doesn't matter what you're selling, you've got a buyer. All these rules apply. It's just figuring out the particulars. And then once all the particulars are out on the table, you look at them and you say, oh, why? This would be something that this person would easily say yes to, and it's a very small commitment. And that's all revealed through that whole ACT process. The analysis process is where you discover all of that. It's like you look at the timeline. You know, the timeline is a formula for how to create this process. They are where they are. You know where they want to be. What are the steps to get there? What are the pitfalls that they need to watch out for along the journey? If you educate them on that process, their desire to work with you is going to go through the roof. So making an offer at the right place in that education process, you got to figure that out. You got to figure, where does that come in? What do I offer them first? How much do I have to give them to create that trust and rapport? How do I eliminate their objections? What are their objections? How many objections are they going to have? The higher the dollar amount, the more objections they're going to have. And when I say objections, these are all based on beliefs. You know, the belief might be, hey, they can't do it. They've tried it before. They've seen other people try it. Didn't work for them. Every one of those little things is going to create a belief, and those beliefs are going to create hidden objections. So when you make your offer, if they say no, I guarantee you it's because there's a hidden objection somewhere. You got to figure out, what are those? If you want your conversions to be ultra high, you have to anticipate those and eliminate them before you make your offer. In the real world, in the sales process, it's a lot easier, because when you make your offer, if they say no, you have an opportunity, you're face to face, you have an opportunity to ask them what's holding them back. And then they can tell you what the objection is. And then you can address it and ask them if they'd like to move forward. Now, it's usually just a miscommunication. You either didn't communicate the value, or you didn't address one of their hidden objections. And then once you do, now the game is back in your favor, and now it's appropriate to ask, now that you understand, would you like to move forward now? And usually they'll say yes. In the online world, in a sales funnel, in a marketing funnel online, you don't have that luxury. If they say no, boom, they're gone. You lose them. That's where conversion comes in. The higher conversion you've got, the less no's you're going to get, and the less expensive your traffic's going to be. Think about that. If you have a really good converting funnel and you could buy traffic to it, wouldn't you want to do that? Yeah. If you had a funnel that didn't convert and you're buying even cheap traffic, probably not going to want to do that very long because it's just going to be really expensive. So anyway, where I kind of started back to, you know, how to get new customers right now and all of that and what I've been doing, it's all based on value proposition. It's based on what the problem is they're going through and what the solution is. I have seen this particular scenario that I'm about to talk about over and over and over through my entire adult life. You hear people that say, business is bad. My business is suffering. I'm hurting the economy. And here's the thing, back to the whole forces of nature. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to accept blame. This again is just a human nature thing. And rather than them accepting the blame and looking at the real problem and addressing it and fixing it, it's so much easier to say, it's a bad economy, right? That takes it off of me. It's not my fault. And puts it on something external that you have no control over. That's what I hear. And like I said, in my entire business life, my entire adult life, I have heard people like that over and over and over. And generally those people, unless they have a really serious shift somewhere, they never get out of that. They will always just sit in where they are and just blame circumstances. And the truth is, it's all fake. You know, it's like the reason I didn't go out and do sales for a long time. I told myself I wasn't a good salesperson. I lied to myself. If you're not doing good, you're probably lying to yourself somewhere. You're probably just blaming something, blaming the economy. The fact is, you're probably just not getting in front of people and presenting what they want. That's it. I mean, if you've got a market and they need something and they're suffering and you can solve the problem, I can almost guarantee you, you're just not making the presentation. That's what it comes down to. There is so much opportunity, and it's all around you. It's all around me, and I don't cash in on it. I mean, if you guys saw the amount of opportunity that passes by just because I'm lazy or whatever, I'm just not that aggressive. I've been comfortable for a very long time, but every time I take a step forward, and that's what I've been doing lately. I've been doing more going out and speaking and talking and just showing people who I am. It's like frightening how much business is coming down the pipe because of that. And it's just a little small shift. I mean, I can decide to sit here and say, oh yeah, I got enough. It's all cool. Or I can go out in that scary place called the world and expose myself to, you know, whatever potential rejection, you know, whatever keeps people holding them back. But the truth is, every time I do it, you're never going to get 100% conversion, and that's okay. You know, like just 2 weeks ago, right before I took off on vacation, I got the opportunity and I said yes. And the opportunity was to go, you know, and I usually don't do this because I would have had to get in my car and drive somewhere. I mean, seriously. But I got the opportunity to speak to a group of pool professionals in San Fernando Valley. So, you know, an hour and a half drive. And like I said, typically I would have said no to that. But I said, yeah. I said, okay, yeah, no problem. It was somebody from the mastermind group. They were, you know, in a pool association. And they said, we would love to have you come speak. Our people really desperately need what you offer. And so I said, yes. I went, put a presentation together, and I did exactly what I teach. I put the presentation together based on who I was talking to. I put pool images in. I used, you know, images of people drowning. You know, I basically created the presentation to what I knew they would resonate with. And I converted 25% of the audience into sales. And the way I did it, I didn't make a big sale. I didn't make, you know, a huge offer. It was basically an offer for sending search signals to their websites to get Google to rank them higher. And the offer I made, it was an interesting offer. It was an offer based on you put your order in, and I'm not sure if I'm going to take you on or not. You have to qualify. I'm going to have to do an evaluation of your site to see if it will even work. And you know what I found was out of all the orders that I got, I was only able to process half of them, because half of the sites were like, oh my God. It was sites built 10 years ago. They weren't mobile friendly. They weren't secure. They had all kinds of issues. And so I went back to, and every one of them that I went back to turned into a web development project. Every one. Nobody wanted to have a broken site. They just didn't know what to do about it. So the offer I made them was only $97. But that was like offering them a gateway drug to me. That was their buy-in. It really was. It was a gateway drug. They are going to buy so much from me over the lifetime of that client, it's going to be unreal.
So how do you, you know, do a website development project for $97?
No, the website project was not the 97. That wasn't the original offer. The original offer was to do the search signals if they qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's a gateway drug. Once they get that, then I'm going to show them all the other stuff that they need.
Mm-hmm.
But remember the micro commitment, the right size offer at the right size time?
Right.
That's,
so what is a search signal example?
that's the SitePop software that we sell.
Oh, okay.
That's selling SitePop. And we've packaged up SitePop. When we sell that software, we sell it as a SaaS software. So it's a software as a service. And we sell an agency version of it. And, you know, we originally built it for our own customers, for our own clients, to help them rank. And then we packaged it up as a software that we could sell for other SEO professionals to help their clients rank. And the way that we do it is we go into the sale with, if you're not ranking, if you're on page 2, 3, 4, 5, the problem is you're missing search signals. You've got all the other stuff that used to work, but now that stuff doesn't work by itself. You're missing this one component, and we can do that for you, and we can offer that as a service to you to fix your broken problem for $97 a month. I have some people that sells that service for, you know, $297, $397 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So the way the agency version works is we sell it for $197 a month, and you get 50 projects to resell. It's ridiculously cheap. 50 projects for $200 a month. You know, that's what, $4 a project per month. And you can resell it for $97 or up to $297 or whatever you want. Or you can give it away for free. Let's say you were offering SEO services. You had a small SEO service package, and you tell them, my package is basically the same as everyone else's package. I've got competitive pricing. We're all going to do the same thing. But here's where I shine. I have this thing that no one else has, and I'll give you that service on top for free. You know, it's cost you $4 a month, but now you just scored an SEO client that's going to pay you $500 a month.
Hmm.
It's a way to outsell the competition by offering something no one else has. So I use that as just a lead-in. Like I said, I call it a gateway drug to me. To get all, there's no way for them to access all the other stuff that I could do for them without coming through that window first, because that was the only offer on the table. I wasn't offering website services and all this other stuff. I made a one thing offer, one thing only.
Mm-hmm.
So
Here,
how do you,
and
how
I
do you
used the
clarify
formula.
that? How do you clarify the SitePop in your elevator pitch?
I basically in that, the way I've been presenting it lately is based around a big idea that NLP works on Google. Because that's what we're doing. We're hypnotizing Google. We're giving it signals to train its artificial intelligence who belongs at the top. And what it is, it's patterns. And NLP, most people in business, a lot of people know what NLP is, and it really intrigues them. They don't know a lot about it, but they know kind of enough about it to know that it's an intriguing thing and it works really well. And most people in business are competitive and they like shit that works really well. So when I take that and I connect that to something I'm doing that affects Google, you're talking about using a very powerful known thing to give you an advantage over all your competitors in Google, which is something they really want. They know their customers are on Google. They know that those customers, those buyers, whoever gets to the top of that search is going to get that business. That's really a pain point for businesses to know if you're not at the top, you're just giving your customers away. So when in an elevator speech, when somebody asks what I do, I say, oh, I have a method of using NLP to get sites to the top of Google. And they're like, well, what? Talk about a lean in. I mean, how long did it take me to say that? I mean, if I said that and turned and walked away, they'd be chasing me. They'd be grabbing it at the back of my shirt. Stop! Tell me what that means. How do I do it? How do I
some people don't know what NLP is. I mean, Callie's taken a course on it. I've taken an intro to it.
No, but it's interesting that you say that it gets you to the top of the search engines, and you can manipulate Google. They don't hear the NLP. They just hear manipulate Google so that it gets to the top of the engine.
Yeah, exactly. And the ones that, believe it or not, there's a lot of people. I mean, NLP is a pretty widespread thing, and there's not a lot of people that really understand it, but they know it's a form of manipulation. I mean, Tony Robbins has made it pretty crystal clear to almost the whole world that changing patterns, there's patterns that create results. And they've connected that to NLP, which that's all NLP is. It's just communication. It's looking at patterns. And a pattern in a buying cycle is a trigger. It's like when you figure out the patterns that will make someone want to buy, that's a buying trigger. That's NLP.
Manipulating people to do something that's going to benefit them, that's okay with me. You know?
There's when you understand triggers, you can use them for good and you can also use them for bad. There's a lot of evil people in the world that have figured this stuff out and they don't use it for good purposes. That's okay. There's nothing you can change about that.
Right.
You know, one of the most important things to not holding you back is understanding what you can and can't change and being able to accept that. Because if you see something you can't change, just treat it as though it's not there. You can't do anything about it. Focus on the stuff you can effectively change and work with. Spend your effort there. You know, if you're battling something you can't change and all of your efforts going towards that, that's gonna kill you. I mean, you're gonna go to sleep at night and you're not gonna sleep very well. I don't like that. I like to sleep like a baby. I just let go of all of that shit. It's like, I can't do anything with that. It is what it is. Here's what I can do to make things better. Just focus on that. So that's what you need when you figure out that elevator speech. It's not paragraphs. It's a sentence. When somebody asks you what you do, the faster you can throw it out on the table, like just what I said, I figured out a way to use NLP to get Google to rank websites. Boom. That's it. That's my elevator speech for that audience, for that product.
Right.
And I guarantee if I throw that out, If they don't know what NLP, if they don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. They're like, oh shit, he's got something that works.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a person, think about this. If it's somebody that doesn't care about search, it's not going to interest them. They're going to go, oh, cool. All right. And they're going to go away. I just eliminated them.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen.
In a polite way.
Yeah. I just said what I did. It didn't resonate with them and we part separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't waste my time.
Yeah.
Now, if I did this the wrong way, I'd go into it and I'd try and educate them how good it is to get to the top of Google.
Mm-hmm.
And I could spend an hour doing that. And then I'd figure out, this person's not, I just wasted an hour.
Hmm.
And then I feel.
So how does it work with these prepaid phones that you guys are talking about on the chat? What does it work on this SitePop? I know that you explained it once last week, but
Sure.
I've been pretty darn busy, and we're going to be out of the state. But I think we can use this in other states. I'm hoping.
Oh yeah, this works all over the world. This works worldwide. So the deal with it is with SitePop, what it is, it's a network of computer devices and cell phones that run search signals for us. So I'll just kind of give you the broad stroke overview here of SitePop and what it is, what it does. So we have figured out that one of the triggers that moves Google to put you at the top is people that know you and search for you and click through and spend time on your site. If people don't know you and there's no brand connection, Google says if the world doesn't know about you and they don't care, why should we? So when Google sees people running searches and including a brand with a keyword, what you're telling Google is, hey, I know this brand exists and I know they carry the product I want and that's who I'm looking for.
Mm.
So Google puts that together and it says, oh, okay, if this person's running a search for this keyword, I pretty much know they want this brand because enough people have told them that.
Yeah.
So it's a pattern that trained their algorithm who to put at the top. So I thought, hey, if I could get enough people to do these searches and create these patterns for me, I could effectively manipulate the search.
Mm.
And the best way for me to do that was to create a network of devices that my central computer could send search signals out to, or search projects, search jobs, and tell them what to do. And that's exactly what we created. That's the SitePop software that we created. So when somebody comes into the network, let's say somebody buys it and they want to use it, they set up a project. A project is a website that they want to promote. They put in the keywords that they want to be searched for in conjunction with their brand, and they connect their phone with that project. So their phone now becomes part of our network, and we send signals to the phone to, hey, start up a web browser and run this search. Look for this website. When you find it, click through to it.
Mm.
If you don't find it, revise the search and add the brand and rerun the search and do it again until you do find it. And when you put a brand with a keyword, almost always your website's going to come up because it's a unique search.
Mm.
So now your phone is doing this. It's doing it for you and it's doing it for other people in the network. Everyone else that comes in and puts their phone in the network, those phones are now running searches for you.
Mm.
So the network now has, I think we've got almost 10,000 phones around the world doing this.
Wow.
So I can literally reach out to that network and say, hey, I need 500 searches this month. Run them.
Wow.
So
And that's the site software?
And that's the software?
Yeah.
So you get, basically, you explain this to the client that they need to buy one of these phones, and then you host it at your office?
Well, we sell it two different ways. We sell it as a software to people that are in the industry. We sell it as a service, and
To
which
retail.
when
Yeah.
we sell it as a service, we're not giving them access to the software.
Yeah.
But we do tell them, you put the app on your phone and then your keywords will display on the phone. So what they get is they get an app where they can see the keywords going up for them. So it's like real-time reporting. Their phone now becomes part of our network to run the searches.
Oh,
Okay.
So they don't know anything about the software on the back end. They just know we're providing a service to them, and here's the app that they can see the report.
Mm.
We do tell them, though, your phone is a requirement because your phone becomes part of the network, and we explain what's going on in the network.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We just don't let them know, hey, you can buy the software for $4 a month.
Yeah.
We don't let them know about that. It's more of a consumer sale. It's still a business to business, but it's an end user versus an agency that's going to sell it as a service like what we're doing.
So it's not black hat
No.
spam stuff. It's
No,
more-
this is real devices, real users, real searches. It's not a bunch of stuff running off a proxy server, some ridiculous thing that people call black hat. When you get down to the truth of the matter, black hat is, if you're going to do SEO, black hat is what you would want, because true black hat is undetectable. It replicates a natural process that's undetectable.
Mhm.
If you're doing what is called, and people in the industry, they don't understand this. They have had SEO con artists basically teach them the meaning of black hat that's a lie. And they say, you don't want anything black hat, you want all natural. Well, the truth of the matter is, if you're doing everything natural, you're not going to get anywhere. That's not good enough. And if you're doing stuff and you're trying to be black hat and you don't know what you're doing, that's gray hat. That is going to get you penalized and banned every time.
Mhm.
If you are truly the top level carnivore in this business, you are black hat to the core.
Mm.
And you are undetectable and you're untouchable. I mean, where do you want to be on that scale?
Right.
The problem is all these con artists have told the consumers, the buyers of SEO, to look out for black hat because they want to sell them a bunch of crap that doesn't work. That's the truth of the matter.
I remember a long time ago, you once called your stuff no longer black hat. You called it invisible hat.
Yeah.
It was detectable.
Yeah, I told people, I don't care what color your hat is, if it's sitting on the head of the invisible man, you can't see it. So that's the real truth behind the whole colors of hat deal. And
Yeah, because ultimately it comes down to content, though, because if you don't have valid content on your site, Google will analyze and say, oh, this is going to a site that has 3 sentences and a picture.
yeah, Google is looking at how a user interacts with a site. If you've got a site, like let's say you use SitePop and it pops your site to the top and you start getting real traffic sent to you from Google, Google's also looking at that traffic. It's like it's seeing how that traffic interacts with your site. If you've got a crappy site, Google's sending you traffic and those users are bouncing off and not sticking and staying, and they're going somewhere else. Google's going to see that pretty quickly and they're not going to send you any more traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you need to have content. That's where, that was part of the whole reason I created the ACT program, was SEO had shifted to that, and conversion. SEO is all about conversion. Everybody asks me, why are you making this jump? You're an SEO guy. Why are you making this jump to marketing? Well, marketing is SEO now.
All right. Yeah.
You don't have that conversion in place, you're dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And in SEO, I've been in this game since the very beginning, and I've always been long term. And you talk about black hat being undetectable. I've been doing commercial SEO for companies for over 20 years now. If I say much more than that, it sounds unbelievable, so I just leave it at that. Over 20 years. In my entire career, I have never, not once, had a client site penalized. Not once, not ever. I don't have that luxury. I do not have the luxury of going back to a business owner and say, yeah, I just destroyed your business. Sorry. That wouldn't be very good for them or for me.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty damn good track record. That says, you know, and I'm considered one of the top black hat SEO people in the world. That's, you know, I'm one of the speakers at the Black Hat conference, and it's, you know, it travels around the world, and it's like the top of the top. It's the guys that are the top of the game, and they don't call themselves white hat.
Right.
So that's what it's all about.
Well, what does being a Google certified SEO partner mean? Do you know what that?
That's pretty awesome. That's an awesome tag.
Because they do have those some people on SEO sites that I've gone to have
Yeah,
that.
no, there's people that use that as a badge of credibility. All that really means is you're certified in their process of selling ads.
Oh, okay.
So when you're a Google certified whatever, you've basically gone through their ad process, and you've learned how to sell their Google paid ads, and you know how to set those up. But what you did is you learned from somebody that's not really interested in the customer of how to set it up. They taught you how to sell ads, not how to make money for people.
Exactly.
So
To me, that sounds like a badge that says D on a restaurant for sushi.
yeah. I mean, I have talked to some of those people. For a while, several years back, I was getting phone calls from those people like all the time. Hey, you know, I'm a Google certified specialist, and they presented themselves as though they were from Google. You know, and they said, you know, I'm here to help you evaluate your account. I'm like, really? You're from Google, or are you one of these certified specialists? And every one of them was a certified specialist. And every one of them, I would stay on with them to find out, you know, what are they doing? What are they selling? How good are they? Because I always look for talent. When I find talent, I exploit it. If I find somebody that's the best at what they do, and I can bring them on and leverage them into my team, I'm interested. So I always gave them a shot. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what you got. And when they would go in and they'd show me what they're doing, I would point out the fact that what they're doing is ripping people off. I'm like, you're not doing this right. Like, do you not understand conversion? Do you not understand that if I pay X amount, I need to get Y back? They didn't care about that. They just wanted you spending as much money as you could, not converting and making as much as you could.
Yeah.
That's what they're trained for.
And Google has a habit of getting customers credit cards and then just charging them on a regular basis without results. So it's,
yeah, I mean, they're charging them
the same way.
Yeah, they're charging them for a product or a service that they're offering, but they're not really, it's not in their best interest for you to make cheap sales.
Right.
Because if you make cheap sales, chances are you're going to get enough business with a lower ad spend. That's not in their best interest. Their best interest is how can we get as much money out of as many people as possible. So.
Yeah, I'm about helping people.
Yeah, well, they're not. It's, talk about an evil empire. That is one of the most evil ones on the planet right now.
Well, they're literally tracking everything that we do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's stuff I could tell you about them that you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. But they're, you know, the reality is one of their ad campaigns, they came out and they said, we're the do no evil company. And I'm like,
Yeah.
anybody that says that, you want to watch your ass. Somebody that's telling people they're do no evil, look out.
Yeah, because I think the antithesis of that is do evil. So if you say we do no evil, what they're really saying is we do evil.
Yeah, that's about the size of that one. But
they want the appearance that they're not doing evil.
Yeah, they're basically throwing it out. But if you were not doing evil and evil was not on your mind, that wouldn't even be part of your thought process.
Right.
Would not be there.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that showed up is a big signal.
Well, I think it's also a recognition that there are evil people and evil processes out there. I think the intention initially when Google started was that was to be sort of a bedrock of their culture, is that you want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But they phrased it wrong. We do no evil.
Like I have found this to be true an awful lot. When you come across somebody that is telling you how good they are, that's a bad sign.
Hmm.
They should be more telling you what they can do for you than how good they are.
Yeah.
And like you see these guys that come on and it's all about them and it's all about the car they drive and the house they live in and all of this stuff, and they're throwing all this smoke and mirrors out.
Yeah.
Why do they need to do that?
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. They're doing that basically to say I'm awesome, I'm good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with what they're selling.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest cons in the whole internet marketing world from the get-go, was they would show you results and then they would show you a product that had absolutely nothing to do with those results.
Wow.
And they were taking advantage of the fact that people automatically put those things together.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's doing that good. This is how he did it. And it's bullshit. And that was the biggest con from the get-go in the internet space. More products, more crap has been sold that way than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah.
I see it over and over and over. It's still going on today. You see guys going up on stage, they're putting on shows, and and their results have absolutely nothing to do with what they're selling. Their result is based on their ability to take money from people.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, just a quick question. Sorry if someone already asked this or not. I guess someone else said no one has. Have you seen something really weird happening in the search results the last three days, especially today? I have seen crazy stuff going on where this is different markets where competitors who were consistently top page or whatever of mine just completely drop, and then and everything else looks like it's completely mixed. I see people on page 2, on page 5. I have another one I'm doing reputation management project, and it just everything completely shifted around more than the normal trial and error stuff Google does. It's like they completely shifting everything, and it's like you take it an hour later, it's completely different as well. Something looks to be going on really unusual today. I was wondering if you or anyone else had seen it. It
might have been their release on Chrome. I know Chrome just put a huge penalty box in place. And
really,
if your site does not load fast, rather than having the blank screen waiting for your site to load, Google is putting an icon up there that says this is a slow loading site. You might want to try another one. And that's basically getting people to hit the back button. So it's a massive penalty basically for slow loading sites, because that sends that signal back to Google's AI that, hey, somebody bounced off that site before they even loaded the page.
Do you know how they're defining slow loading sites? How many seconds, say on a GT metrics or whatever, are they doing it first DOM or till everything is loaded, including the lazy load? Do you know how they're defining that?
I'm not really sure what is triggering it, but I've seen it already, and I know that's going to have a major impact on a lot of sites.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, if you go to the GT metrics and you look, you can see your score. You know, you can see it grades a whole bunch of different stuff.
Right.
And you know, if you're getting bad grades there, you can probably expect to be hit with that, if not now, very soon because of that.
Right. Right. Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know of anything else specifically. Not to say that it's not possible, but I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, it's
What is
literally.
the site that tracks your slow loading?
It's GT metrics.
GT
Yep.
metrics.
It's cool. You can actually load in your website and have a login. You can just go in there, refresh. It'll check it regularly. You can check it from, if you've got a server in Europe, it'll check it from Europe. It's actually a pretty cool tool.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did you get penalized for having-
Yeah, I heard that.
So anyway, you know, to get a lot of business today, you got to find that lead in. It's what is the gateway drug to you? You know, you probably have a bunch of stuff on the back end that you could sell once you get somebody, but it's the job of acquiring a customer, and everybody underestimates that. They don't have a really good process for customer acquisition. You don't need to make a killing on the first sale. What you need to do is you need to start a relationship. Think about it all as a dating process. Don't go in for the kill, you know.
Right.
Don't do that. It's just greasy.
Yeah.
You know, start small, acquire the customer, and look at it as a gateway drug. If you provide good service, they're going to get hooked.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. Get the drug in as many hands as you can and get as many people hooked as you can and have a great life. Everybody's happy.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to find out what is that gateway drug for you.
Mm-hmm.
And give it away. Get it out there. Make it cheap. Get it to as many people as possible. And then just let them experience you. If you are a good experience, they're going to keep coming back.
Right.
That's it. And most people are. Most people, that's not their problem. Most people have the problem of not knowing how to get the experience started.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. And it's a simple process. It's creating a sales process. And it's starting small. It's, you know, if you look at, this has been going on in retail for a very long time. I mean, since before I was even born, this has been going on. They would have a sale with a loss leader. They would actually offer something to get people into the store. This goes way back before the internet. They give you something like, you know, come in for a 99-cent pillow, you know, for your couch, a decorator pillow worth, you know, $30, you know, homeowner, housewife. Oh yeah, I love those pillows. I want that. So she goes into the store, she gets the pillow for 99 cents. And now she's going through and she's like, well, this pillow doesn't really match my couch.
Yeah.
So she winds up buying a whole set of furniture.
Yeah.
You know, but it was because of that gateway drug that got her hooked. If she wasn't in the store, she wouldn't have fell in love with the new set of furniture. They knew that.
So like with the SitePop, is that $97 per month for a client? And then you explain to them, for this $97 per month, you're going to get X, Y, Z?
Yeah, when we sell it like that, when we sell it as a service, we sell it at $97 a month, and we give them 500 search signals a month for it.
500 search signals from a locality near them?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's a pretty cool deal. Inside that, when somebody buys into that, we've got training in there on, you know, how to do all that. We even have sales funnels to sell it that way. We have a Kartra funnel that we give away. We have a WordPress funnel, all of that stuff.
So like on our site, we signed up for Kartra. We can replicate replicate your sales funnel on our, our WebMaster site?
Yeah, you could just import it.
Okay.
Just import it. It's set up to sell it in exactly that way. It's to sell it as, you have to apply for this, you have to qualify, and it's the whole process that I use for that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, anything else? I pushed this one up a little earlier because I've got a 12 o'clock webinar I'm putting on actually selling SitePop. So.
Okay, cool.
All right. Cool.
And is that in your, so to access your past videos and stuff, where do we go to do that? Internet Dominators?
Yeah, there's a link in the membership area in the ACT program. If you go under the weekly call tab, there's a link in there to the archive.
Yeah, we've been moving, so I haven't
It's been
really
pretty hectic, and we want to get the SitePop thing for a couple clients starting this January, but we were not able to even think about it right now due to
It'll be around. It's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Well, you guys have a great week.
All right. Well, you too.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you guys for all for being here. It's awesome. I love to see a good turnout. So.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a great week, and we'll be on next week. And get ready. I'm gonna show you the year-end grilling.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.